Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kids, and today is the second video reviewing our curriculum for this past school year. So if you missed it, I did do a curriculum review, kind of year-end wrap-up for our pre-K resources and curriculum that we used for my son. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down all of my daughter's curriculum. She was in 5th grade this year, and any of the things we kind of did as a group. So we began this year with the Good and the Beautiful Math Level 4. And this was our first time trying their new Simply Good and Beautiful Math. We used Level 3, the old version, last year, and it was my daughter's favorite subject from last year. And so this year I decided to try out the new version. Initially, we really liked it. I thought it was beautiful. I really enjoyed the video aspect of the curriculum and how there was just the QR codes that you scan and then the video came up for the lesson. The videos were well done. They were engaging. I felt like they were, they related them to nature and real life. I thought that my daughter would really like that part of it too, because it explains real life math. But she didn't. She expressed that she didn't like the videos, and if I'm honest, with the videos and the lesson practice, the independent practice, and the review thing part, it's actually kind of a long lesson, and I was finding that it was burning her out. Something that they changed between the different versions was this video aspect. It was one of the bonus things that they added in to help families out and kind of make it a little bit more independent for the child, and I get that. But they also took away a lot of the hands-on aspects of the curriculum that they had in their old version. Now, I understand that they're trying to listen to people about simplifying things and that there were too many manipulatives and that sort of thing. But for me, my daughter liked the manipulatives. She liked the games and the hands-on aspects of it. And to be honest, I feel like there are a lot of math programs out there that don't have as many manipulatives that anybody can choose from. And there's not as many hands-on math options out there. And so I think, they took something really unique and made it pretty mainstream. I feel like personally, taking all of those out for those higher levels, even just because you're past level 3 doesn't mean a child suddenly isn't a hands-on learner anymore. That hands-on learning is going to be a part of them, and they need that as well. They did have some fun little puzzle games in the curriculum, but again, that's just pencil and paper. It's not like a game that you sit down and play with pieces or different counters or anything like that. And so that was one reason I don't think she really loved it as well. Something that we realized with the videos in the Good and the Beautiful is that it's a lot of fluff. It's a lot of extra time, and we've realized that my daughter is very straightforward when it comes to math. She just wants her math. She wants to do her math. She doesn't want to spend a ton of time doing math or listening to things about math. She just wants to get it done. Something simple and straightforward, short and sweet is what she likes. I also feel like this math is very spiral. Now, I've looked at spiral math curriculums. I've used other spiral math curriculums, and I feel like the Good and the Beautiful is very spiral. I feel like they're doing something different almost every single day. And while that works well for some kids, I've talked about this in the past, some kids thrive with a spiral method of that, moving on to something different, keeping it from being boring, and then coming back to the concepts to build on them. I totally get that. But for my daughter, I think we've realized that she thrives better on a mastery approach or a spiral curriculum that is a little bit of a looser spiral and doesn't change every single day. So from the Good and the Beautiful Math, we moved into Master Books, Math Lessons for a Living Education Level 4, and we actually really liked it. We liked how short it was and to the point. we got to a point where she was able to kind of open her math book and like take initiative to do her math lesson for the day because she knew what she was doing. It was straightforward. There are some stories in the math curriculum, and after a few chapters, we just stopped reading the story. She didn't even want the simple stories that were in Math Lessons for a Living Education. So we skipped those and we just did the math, and we really enjoyed it. Like, we got through about half of the book. It's very like gentle in its approach. It's very slow, I feel like, in progression, and it comes back and reviews a lot of basic operations, which I think was helpful for her. At the point where we stopped Math Lessons for a Living Education, which is about halfway through, she was getting so much faster at just like addition and subtraction and multiplication and that sort of thing, because they do have a lot of that in the curriculum mixed in with the new stuff that they're teaching. However, about halfway through the math book, a little bit before halfway, we noticed that it was getting a little bit vague in its instructions. And as you get higher up in math, I feel like, at least for me, and me not being like a math person, I need thorough instructions to be able to teach her well, or for her to be able to read and understand. And I feel like they became very vague. There were times where I had to pull up videos because I wasn't sure like the processes that they were explaining. And after we kind of ran into those little bumps, I started researching the like older levels of this program, and I was finding a lot of people telling me that that continues through the upper levels. And so that concerned me, and that was a red flag for me because, like I said, I'm not the best math person, and so I definitely wanted something that had good teacher support for those upper level concepts. So we stopped, not because it's a bad program, but just because I know it's not going to work for us next year. Let's just make a switch now and kind of make the transition a little bit smoother. And so that's what we did. So for language arts, we ended up starting with Lightning Literature, grade 4. The highlights of this program is that it's literature based. I wanted to focus on reading this year, having Lacey really get exposed to different types of books, different genres, different like conversations about books. I think literature is a great tool for conversation. Lightning Literature is very good at that. It's very good at creating the conversations, and I really appreciate that. So basically there's a list of books that you read, and it breaks it down every day. It says, okay, you're going to read chapters 1 and 2, or you're going to read page this through this today. And then it has some comprehension questions, and then it goes into a grammar lesson that ties into the book. We loved this program this year. Both of us. She never fought to do it. She just wanted to do it all the time. It was never like a battle getting her to sit down to do it. We did the books all together as kind of like read alouds together, and it was just a really nice curriculum for us, and it really we liked that time together. We've done like historical fiction, we've done poetry, we've done like a nonfiction novel written by true story. Just a really, really good open and go, really straightforward literature-based program. It's very well organized. The composition is broken down in very manageable pieces, which I love. It lacks instruction with composition a little bit. So if you're somebody that needs like a lot of instruction with writing, it may be a little bit challenging for you in that aspect, but the amount that they do each day is very manageable, even for my reluctant writer. And we didn't, if I'm honest, we didn't do a lot of the composition. We did maybe 2 of the composition pieces because she hates writing. And so that's something we're working on. We really enjoyed it. So we're going to move on to history and science. We use Knotgrass, our Star Spangled Story for history. And to be honest, we didn't love it. We only got through about a quarter of it, and then we kind of it was hard to remember to do it because we didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say we didn't enjoy it or we hated it. It just wasn't my favorite. The textbooks are really beautiful. They're very well done, but I feel like it's very surface level. So if you're looking for a history curriculum that isn't overwhelming or super detailed, this may be a good fit for you if you're using it for like younger kids who you just want like a base understanding of American history, it's a great program for that. However, for me personally, I like rich history and I gravitate towards interesting, in-depth history, maybe with a little bit of literature, you know, selections to read, different points of view. History is always kind of a struggle, I feel like, for a lot of homeschool families. So for this program, we just didn't love it. There's usually one craft per unit at the end of the, or in the middle of a unit, and she did like those. We did enjoy the craft, but I felt like it was just one. I would have liked a couple more options for projects. One thing though that we did really like about history was the American history timeline from the thinking tree. And we actually use that quite a bit more than even our main history curriculum. I went through that entire fun schooling journal and put sticky notes through it on different points that I wanted to kind of touch on. There's a lot of self-research inside the journal. However, we didn't do that as much as we actually used the information that was in there about different people and then kind of expanded upon it, like watched a documentary. One thing that we really enjoyed was missionus.org. It's like a simulator game about history, American history. And so you are like a character in this time period and you have like different choices that you make and different outcomes happen. And it was really fun. My daughter loved that part and it really helped make the history topic kind of come alive for her. For science, okay, so science was one that we had a really hard time sticking with. So we did the Good and the Beautiful Ecosystems unit study, loved that. Then we moved into Gather Round Human Body, and I love the look of that unit and I like the information in it. However, I don't think I would use it the way that I'm using it. Like I was just trying to use it for the science part of it and skip all of the other subjects because we already had other curriculum for those. However, I feel like I was skipping a lot and it wasn't really worth it to me. Like I was taking a lot of the curriculum out just to use it for science. And so I honestly wouldn't recommend using Gather Round as like if you just want it for one subject, I wouldn't use it for that. I think using it in its entirety is way more worthwhile and worth the money that you spend on that curriculum. It is full of information. We actually only got about 3 lessons in and then I stopped it because I think I want to use it kind of in the future a little bit instead of right now because it's a lot of information. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is Harbor and Sprout, and I have done a few videos on Harbor and Sprout as well. It's a unit study curriculum company that I discovered in the fall time, like September, October-ish, and we started doing unit study days and fell in love. We have kind of discovered that unit studies are something that we all really enjoy. We love that style of learning, of being all together, like interacting, collaborating, and kind of doing these hands-on, you know, projects and activities and learning about certain topics, and we really enjoyed it. So Harbor and Sprout is a subscription. So you pay monthly and you get credits every month, and then you can select the units that you want with your credits. And it's very affordable. It covers all subjects, even math. I will say that looking at the subject matter, I feel like it's not as in-depth as Gather Round is, and Harbor and Sprout I feel like is a lot easier to use what you want from it and leave the rest than Gather Round is. With Harbor and Sprout, you just print out the subjects you want. So if you didn't want art or history or something, you just wouldn't print those. One thing I will say is trying to organize things and print things is a little bit tricky. I have a video on how I personally do it, but I also feel like if Harbor and Sprout created leveled notebooks with it all organized together like Gather Round does, it would be so much easier because then you could just print the pages for the level you needed instead of having to go through and pick and choose which ones and then assemble them yourself. So that's one critique I have, but Harbor and Sprout is really beautiful. It's all like very visual. There's some information in the units, but a lot of it is QR codes that link you to websites and videos, external sources to read your information from. So there's usually like a little bit of information and then links to expand upon it and like really dive in. She has a ton of different really unique topics. We did engineering, which was my favorite unit we did. It's such a unique topic. We learned about solar energy, solar panels, solar farms. We made a solar oven and made s'mores in it. We studied Roman aqueducts and like kind of the engineering behind those. We built like a model of a Roman aqueduct. You see that video in my intro in every video that I do, but it was just so much fun. I feel like the topics that they cover for each subject relates to the topic we're studying very well too. So for the visual art unit, they did whole like eye anatomy and like what it actually means to have vision and what happens to your eye so it can see things, and I thought that was really cool. They are also secular or neutral in their approach, and so I think even non-Christian families will be able to use that without a lot of like change up. So we really like them. I think they're fabulously done. Like I said, we kind of fell in love with unit studies. And we've realized that we really gravitate towards that style of learning. Okay, so those are all of the main curriculum resources we used for 5th grade, and then also like together as a group. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts on them. Like I kind of said in the first video I did, just because something didn't work for us does not make it a bad curriculum by any means. It just means it just wasn't for us at this time. Curriculum videos for next year and our choices will be coming soon in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for those. It's an exciting time, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.